Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest updates that truly matter, especially when it comes to your money and your future. Today's story is one that's going to impact thousands of South African pensioners, caregivers, and families across the nation. This is not just a rumor. It's not speculation. We're talking about 2,300 or more confirmed for South African pensioners. This is major news, and if you or someone you love is receiving a government pension or social grant, then you'll want to listen closely and stay tuned all the way to the end because there are details that could affect how much you get and when you get it. Now let's get right into it. In a country where the cost of living continues to rise, whether we're talking about groceries, electricity, or transportation, any bit of financial relief makes a huge difference. And the South African Social Security Agency, better known as SASSA, has just confirmed that pensioners will be receiving an increase in their monthly payments starting this season. The amount? At least 2,300, and in many cases, even more depending on your circumstances. This isn't just a one-time bonus. We're talking about a structural increase that reflects broader efforts by the government to provide more substantial support for elderly citizens, many of whom rely solely on these grants to survive. This change couldn't have come at a better time. South Africa has been grappling with economic challenges, including inflation and rising fuel costs that trickle down to affect everything from maize meal to meat. For pensioners, who often live on fixed incomes and don't have the ability to work or earn extra income, these increases represent more than just numbers, they're a lifeline. So let's break down exactly what this means, how it's happening, and who qualifies for this 2,300 plus monthly amount. First off, if you are currently receiving the older person's grant from SASSA, this new confirmed amount applies directly to you. As of April 2025, SASSA has implemented a grant increase that brings the base pension amount to 2,180 for people aged 60 to 74. But that's not the end of the story. If you're 75 or older, you're actually eligible for even more. Your grant increases to 2,200. And here's where it gets even more exciting. There are additional allowances and top-ups that can push your total monthly support to 2,300 or more. These include supplements for those who qualify based on disability, caring responsibilities, or additional needs. The increase is part of the national government's 2025 budget rollout, in which Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana announced a series of social support adjustments aimed at relieving the pressure on vulnerable groups. During his speech, he was very clear that one of the government's key priorities this year is to strengthen the safety net for pensioners, especially in the face of ongoing economic headwinds. This means the changes aren't just short-term patches, they're part of a larger commitment to adjusting social grants in line with inflation and living expenses. Let's take a moment to talk about why this matters so much. According to recent studies, more than half of South Africa's elderly population lives in poverty. Many rely entirely on their SASSA grants to pay rent, buy food, and cover medical expenses. For them, every rand counts. An extra $100 or $200 might seem small to some, but when your entire income is less than $2,000 a month, those small increases can mean the difference between eating 3 meals a day or just one. So this move by SASSA, while overdue in the eyes of many, is being welcomed with a collective sigh of relief. And we are seeing it across communities. In Soweto, pensioner Thandi Makona told local reporters that the increase will help her buy much-needed medication and groceries that she previously had to go without. In Cape Town, 78-year-old Ernest Molongo says the grant bump means he won't have to rely as much on his grandchildren, who are also struggling in today's economy. These personal stories highlight just how significant this increase is. But let's get into some details many people might not be aware of. If you receive the older person's grant and you also qualify for other support like a disability grant or a child support grant for a grandchild under your care, your total monthly benefit could well exceed $2,300. And that's not including other programs that can help supplement your income like the government's food parcel assistance, free healthcare access, and municipal rebates on rates and taxes for seniors. So if you're a pensioner or you help care for one, it's critical that you're fully aware of all the programs you might be eligible for. Now, how do you ensure that you get this increase? The good news is that if you are already receiving your pension via SASSA, whether through direct bank deposit or a SASSA card, you don't need to reapply. The increased amount will automatically be reflected in your next monthly payment. SASSA confirmed this in a statement released earlier this month, assuring beneficiaries that their systems are updated and that no one needs to go stand in long queues just to verify this increase. That said, it's always a good idea to double-check your payment status using the SASSA website or by visiting your local SASSA office just in case any issues arise. Another key thing to note is payment dates. SASSA has been very clear that payments for older persons are prioritized. Typically, these are paid on the first working day of the month. For example, if the first falls on a weekend or public holiday, payments are processed on the preceding working day. So if your usual payment day is around the 1st or 2nd of the month, you can expect the updated amount to be reflected right then. As always, make sure your banking details are up to date to avoid any delays. We should also touch on fraud and scams, because unfortunately, anytime there's a big financial announcement like this, scammers come out of the woodwork. Be extremely cautious of anyone who claims that you need to pay a fee to access the increased amount, or anyone who asks for your banking PIN or SASSA card information. SASSA will never ask you to confirm your identity via SMS or email, and they certainly won't ask for personal payment to unlock any benefits. If you're ever unsure, call the SASSA toll-free helpline or visit their official website to get accurate information. One of the things many people have asked is whether this increase is going to be permanent or if it might be reversed in future. The Finance Ministry has indicated that the grant increases are designed to be sustainable, tied to annual budgetary reviews. That means unless the country faces an extreme financial crisis, the increases are not temporary. In fact, officials have hinted that they'll continue reviewing these amounts yearly, possibly adjusting them again in the next fiscal period to better align with inflation. So while it's not set in stone forever, it's safe to say that these increases are meant to last at least throughout the year and likely beyond. Now let's zoom out a little and talk about the bigger picture. South Africa is one of the few countries on the continent that has a fairly extensive social support system for the elderly, and while it has its shortcomings, the government is under increasing pressure to expand and improve it. With the 2026 elections on the horizon, you can bet that politicians will be using social grants as a talking point. Many opposition parties are already calling for even bigger increases, or for the introduction of a universal basic income grant that could benefit all unemployed adults, including many pensioners who don't yet qualify for traditional grants. So yes, politics plays a role in this, but the bottom line remains the same. If you're a pensioner or care for one, this 2300 plus update is a confirmed, real financial boost that you should plan around. Use it wisely. Think about how you can allocate that extra money toward things that really matter, like healthy food, warm clothing for the winter months ahead, or even saving a bit for emergencies. Let's also take a second to talk about the psychological impact. For many elderly citizens, receiving that small increase in their grant is not just about the money, it's about dignity. It's about feeling seen, respected, and valued by their government and by society. Too often, older generations are sidelined or forgotten, especially once they're no longer active in the workforce. So when a government makes moves to uplift its senior citizens, it sends a message that their contributions are not only remembered but honored. But we can't stop here. It's up to all of us citizens, communities, and content creators like myself to spread awareness about these changes. There are many pensioners in rural or underserved areas who might not have access to smartphones or news sources. So if you're watching this and you have a parent, grandparent, or neighbor who relies on a SASSA grant, do them a favor and let them know what's happening. Tell them about the increase. Help them check their payment status. Help them avoid scams. We have a responsibility to each other, and information is one of the most powerful tools we have. Before we wrap up, let's quickly recap what every South African pensioner needs to know right now. Number 1, SASSA grants for older persons have increased to at least 2,180 for those aged 60 to 74, and 2,200 for those 75 and older. Number 2, with additional top-ups and support, many pensioners will now be receiving over 2,300 per month. Number 3, you don't need to reapply, this will be automatically reflected in your next payment cycle. Number 4, always be cautious of scams and only trust official SASSA communication channels. And number 5, this is just the beginning. With future budgets and elections coming up, the system may see even more improvements, especially if the people continue to raise their voices. So there you have it, 2,300 confirmed, and it's a game changer for thousands of South African pensioners. If this video helped you understand what's coming and what steps to take, do me a big favor, hit that like button so more people can see it, and share this with your family and community. And of course, subscribe for more important updates like this. We'll continue to break down complex issues and deliver the facts that truly impact your life. Thanks so much for watching, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll see you in the next video.